What's good, everyone? It's your boy Nazi with another video for the channel. Welcome back to DMV Sports Zone. And today we got our third installment of Washington Football Weekly with three special guests. Once again, got Pedro back for another one of these streams. We also have Deacon, who is a really good content creator in the Washington Football Team YouTube community. And I'm just glad he's here. And we also got He Got Sports as well, another up and coming Washington Football Team YouTuber. So thankful for all you guys hopping on the call and hopping on this stream. It's always great to have some great guests on here. But yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we got to talk about what happened on Sunday. That devastating loss that we had, man. We all thought we were going into overtime. 16 seconds left, and then we know what happened after that. So, what are you guys' thoughts on the loss?
I'll go first. I think it again just shows this team. It's so annoying. We're the worst first half team in the NFL, and we're probably the worst, like worse than the Jets. Honestly, I don't know the stats, but it's probably pretty close. It's every single game except for the Cowboys game and the first Giants game. I think, it started out as a blowout in the first half, and I think we closed it down to 3 points at half. But besides that, every game we've been getting blown out in the first half, and in the second half, we start playing well, we start playing good, and that's the same thing that happened this week and against the Giants. But this time we were down by a lot more in both games, and Alex Smith played pretty well. I mean, he did what he had to do, did not turn the ball over, which that's the most important thing, and at the end of the day, we should have went into overtime, and I thought we had a good chance of doing that. And again, the defense, that you can't allow 40 yards in 16 seconds. I don't think they played aggressive enough on defense. You can't, especially on that last play where Marvin Jones caught the ball. I mean, they let him catch the ball, and I don't think you can't do that. And then obviously the Chase Young penalty, that wasn't, it's kind of a soft penalty, but and I don't know if I agree with it or not. It's probably roughing a passer, but at the end of the day, I mean, he should not have done that. He had time too, and that's on him. But it was a close game, competitive game, and who knows if we end up getting our franchise quarterback this year, and it's part of because we got a higher pick, then it might not turn out to be that bad of a thing. But you also want to be contending. So
yeah. Abdullah, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's this New Year same thing. I mean, watching this team, they just find new ways to lose. And I was at work when we were down 3-24, but then when I was coming home, we were coming back, and it's just false hope with this team. Seems like it almost every year, and I just feel like I'm pretty sure a lot of fans can agree with this, that I'm the fan that says we will never be good under Dan Schneider. And I know some fans might disagree with that, but that's just my opinion. And but I mean, hopefully a new quarterback will maybe change his franchise around. I don't know.
Yeah, Deacon.
I don't know what you guys expected. I mean, it's 2020. Season is what it is. We should have never switched over to trying to win a division. That's not what we were built for. And we look bad because of it. So I knew we weren't going to beat Detroit. I was still hurt about the Giants game. We lost to the Giants. So how are we going to beat Detroit? Better quarterback, better team. I just didn't see it. As far as Alex Smith's concerned, taking over the quarterback position, you get what you get. I mean, it's okay. He looks good. He can throw it from here to 5 yards down and sometimes 20 yards, but he won't push the ball down the field unless he's behind 10, 15 points. So you're going to get what you get. If we got a 1st and 10, you're going to dump it down and get 5 yards. Don't get no penalties because that makes it what? 15 yards, right? Now we're 2nd and 15. You're going to dump it down 5 yards. We got to get 10 yards. You're going to dump it down 7 yards. And we're going to be off the field. That's just what the season's going to be like from here on in until they put Dwayne in, which they're going to do because we're going to lose the next couple of games. And then they're going to put him in, and then it's just going to look like – so, no, I thought we was going to lose. It looked like we was going to lose, and we lost.
Yeah.
So it's just what it is, man. That's the way the season's going.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought we were gonna lose too, even going into the week. We'll talk a little bit more about the whole Alex Smith, Dwayne Haskins situation later. But for me, the running theme, if you guys like have watched like my videos last 2 weeks, have been like I've started off every single video with this. In 2020, amidst the global pandemic, the Washington football team still can't bring us any sort of hope, any sort of joy. That just tells you the state of the franchise right now. And the last 2 years, really the last they're 6-36, right? Since their 6-3 start, something like that. In 2018, it's just been absolutely atrocious. And last week, I mean, this is saying a lot, but I think it's probably was the most like gut wrenching loss that we've had in a while, just because of the fact that we did make that mini comeback, right? We tied it up, and then a lot of us thought we were going into overtime. 16 seconds left. The Lions just drove down the field. Chase Young, you can say whatever you want. And the same thing with there was a penalty earlier in the game as well that was sort of similar where it was called against us, but it was sort of, I believe it was on a sack, an easy lane to a sack.
Lewis, right?
Exactly, yeah, easy lane to a sack, but he just like brushed up against like the chin strap, I believe. And I get it, like 10, 15 years ago, that would have been just like a bogus call, but by the letter of the law, it is what it is. It is a roughing the passer, and same thing with Chase Young, man, and that really screwed us over. I know he apologized afterwards, but and he said it was a rookie mistake, but that definitely screwed us over. But like I said, didn't think we were gonna win going into the week, so wasn't surprised that we ended up losing. It's just that like how we lost, that's really devastating, and just a reminder of how sorry this franchise is. But yeah, I mean, Pedro, I know we talked about this off camera before the video, but you guys want to talk about Scott Turner and Jack Del Rio and their performance so far on the offense and defense side of things, or how they're coaching up the team, 2-7 team at this point? Pedro?
Oh yeah, okay, I'll go. I mean, I already said it before, but for the people in the stream, I think Scott Turner didn't, obviously with Dwayne didn't do the best, and that's partly because Dwayne didn't know the system, and that's not all his fault. I mean, he didn't have a full offseason to prepare, and I think the offense has been getting better and better over the weeks, the more they've been in the system, and you see the young guys, especially Cam Sims, Isaiah Wright, they're playing better with Alex Smith, and you've seen them emerge with Alex Smith, especially Cam Sims. I mean, Isaiah Wright was doing okay the first couple of games before with Dwayne, but Cam Sims has been playing pretty well these last few games, and like I said earlier, I think the last couple of games it's more been the offensive execution in the red zone more than Scott Turner's bad play calling. I agree with you. Some of his play calling has been bad, like that 2nd and 2 where they called that run weird reverse to J.D. McKissick where they had Alex Smith blocking. Like Deacon said, you don't want to do that. You just run up the middle or outside and get those 2 yards. But I feel like he's been getting a little bit better. And, I was on him in the beginning of the season, but I think he's using his running backs a little bit better now. And, you're seeing this offense play better. They just got to start out faster and better. But again, they did that in the Lions game. They just couldn't execute. I mean, one missed field goal, one, play where they were in field goal range. That's the stupid reverse play. And then Alex Smith takes a 14-yard sack. That costs you 3 points right there. So that's 6 total points. And then Alex Smith, where he missed J.D. McKissick in the end zone, where that was he should have made that throw. That's another 7. And then Terry McLaurin's fumble. So the turnovers and lack of execution have really killed us. But I thought he's done an okay job and a lot better in the last few weeks.
Yeah. Shouts out to Dub's family for being on the stream right now. Brandon, as always,
What's up,
one of my good
Dubs?
friends. King Sean, as always, see your comments here. AM Hunter, always commenting on the videos. Appreciate the support. Abdullah, what do you think about Scott Turner and Jack Del Rio's performance so far?
Well, I mean, I personally thought we should have kept Kevin O'Connell, but Scott Turner, I mean, his play calling can be questionable. Like, one thing that I just don't think Peyton Barber should be handed off the ball. I just think McKissick and Gibson. And Jack Del Rio, I mean, he has dialed up some nice blitzes, but again, the defense isn't as great because of the offense of their slow starts and just not being able to execute. So, but overall, I wouldn't call Scott Turner like a terrible coach, offensive coach, coordinator.
Cool. Deegan?
Average. They're doing an average job. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Part of playing football is being ready to play. So you can't say they're doing good if they're coming out slow in the first half.
Yeah.
Call this team a second half team because they come out slow, which means they're not being coached up and ready to play as soon as they get in. They're making good adjustments at halftime. But, I mean, I put that on the head coach, man. You got to be ready.
Yeah.
You got to get these guys ready. If it's happening every game, that means they're not being ready to play when they come to the game. Scott Turner, average. I mean, I'm not sure if he's coaching his playbook or he's coaching to his players. But it seems to me that he's coaching his playbook, trying to get his playbook to work, as opposed to seeing what he has and coaching to the talent that he has on the field. I could be wrong, but that's just what it looks like to me. And them coming out sluggish and not ready to play, fumbling the ball, offsides and all that stuff, that's all part of the game. You're going to get that because it's just football, But not being ready to play, which is what they look like when they come out on the field, that's coaching. That's not always the players not being ready to play. That's been coaching, not getting these guys focused and ready to play the team that they have in front of them.
Yeah. No, I totally agree there. I'll just say on the defensive side of things, Jack Del Rio, I would say is still above average. He's still a pretty good defensive coordinator. I mean, all you got to look at is the fact that we've had pretty much, outside of Chase Young, of course, sort of similar talent like last year and even the year before, but we had been bottom ranked in terms of like defensive standings and stuff. So I think Jack Del Rio is doing a pretty good job in terms of turning that defense around. I do think he definitely needs to improve in certain areas, especially when it comes to getting his guys ready at the start of the games, not waiting until halftime, because the third quarter, we all know this defense is actually very solid in the third quarter. And even the Fox broadcast every single week mentioned that, but it's always about starting slow. And like Beacon said, it's been a problem for us for many years, and especially is a problem now, and we need to get that fixed. On the offensive side of things, I don't really believe in Scott Turner. I'm just gonna say it. I don't really believe in him. I get it. He uses running backs especially really well. Saw that in Carolina last year, albeit with a guy in McCaffrey. And this year, Antonio Gibson's getting fed, J.D. McKissick. But at the same time, I mean, it's mentioned all over the chat right now, but Peyton Barber, I say this every single week. Why is this man still getting carries out of the backfield? He is not a good running back, and he's still getting carries. I get it. He's your short yardage guy. At the same time, though, if we're going to keep Peyton Barber, should have just kept Adrian Peterson instead, because Peterson is a better running back, in my opinion, even if he is older at this point. But, yeah, I think I like Jack Del Rio. I really do. Everything off the field aside, I really do. But Scott Turner, I don't know about that. But moving on a little bit, I see some comments in here about Jonathan Allen. Yeah, I mean, he's talented, but he hasn't done too much this year. You don't really hear his name on broadcast. What do you guys think about that defensive line and Jonathan Allen, and the loss of Matt Ioannidis and how big that has been for the defensive line and their production this year?
I mean, I think the D line, it's a strength of the team. I mean, they've had up and down games. I mean, you've seen most of their sacks come against the teams with the banged up offensive lines. I mean, the Eagles, they got 8 sacks. The Cowboys, they got 6 sacks. And yeah, I think Ioannidis, I mean, when Chase Young is getting double and triple teamed, I mean, the other guys around him, if that's the case, if he's getting triple teamed, then Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Montez, so one of those guys is going to be free, or a linebacker coming in for the blitz. So, I mean, they got to get to the quarterback. And, some of these games, they just haven't been getting enough pressure. And the run defense has been inconsistent. I think their numbers, they're ranked in the bottom, like late 20s. But I think part of that is because of they're playing a lot of rushing quarterbacks, at least in the beginning of the season, but they still need to get better on, that part of the game. And part of that also is the linebackers. John Bostic, absolutely terrible.
Oh my.
But yeah, I think they're young and they're gonna keep getting better. The guy said it too.
You know how I feel about Bostic, man.
Yeah,
Oh my
Bostic.
gosh.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why he's playing. I guess we don't have really anyone behind him who can play, but yeah, I think they've played solid. They're still young and they're gonna get better. And yeah, Matt Ioannidis is a huge loss.
Yeah. Ioannidis loss was that was bigger than anybody thought it was going to be.
Yep.
Because when he went out, the whole defensive line structure just fell apart. Chase is doing all right. Like I say, he's getting double team, triple team. The problem is we can't get all these guys to play a good game at the same time.
Yeah.
You got one guy playing good and the rest of the team, not playing good. You got one cornerback playing good and one cornerback doesn't, and safety. And then one comes in, one gets hurt. It's Washington, man. That's what we do. We get hurt, man. Every year, it's the walking
We always
wounded.
go after guys that got hurt too.
Walking wounded, man. So the line, like I said, I'm not worried about the line. The line's all right. We just got once again get them coached up, playing in the same direction, playing at the same speed, playing on the same day. Once they get that, which is this year is more of a learning year. We can't stress enough that it's a new defensive structure. We're going from the 3-4 to 4-3. Got new defensive coaches, new defensive scheme, new offensive coach, new offensive coordinator, new quarterbacks, new running backs. Everything's brand new. No OTAs, no preseason. So, I mean, nobody expected the conference to be this bad. But, the defense, I think, will be okay. Just to put it down. If they can get the Shades of Everett to play downhill and keep hitting people like he does without getting any penalties, we can let Linda Collins go. Darby is a surprise this year. I thought he was going to get cooked on the corner, but he's not been doing too bad. If we can get one more one more corner as far as playing in the zone, John Bostic, he's a rough one, man.
The problem with
I don't know what to do with him. I thought he was going to be like a little solid defensive player in the middle that we could count on. Some veteran. Nah. I was off on that one. Let me put it that way. I give up on that one.
Yeah. No, I say this like a lot, but there's a reason why in Pittsburgh John Bostic was never really the starter. He was always a backup linebacker, and there were times when even when Shazier went down, I believe Bostic was still on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he was just backing the starting linebacker up every single week. So he's only starting on our team because of the fact that we don't have really solid linebackers outside of maybe Cole Holcomb, but. Abdullah, I want to get your thoughts into about the defensive line.
I mean, we're a young team, and our defensive line is still developing. It was a crazy offseason, new name, new coaches, and everything. And I think if the division wasn't so weak, we wouldn't be as upset. But I just feel like we got to give Rivera at least one more. This season was just where are we right now? And I still think that we're just a really young team, and it's just bumps in the road. Hopefully this defensive line gets better and our offensive line gets better, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to take over the division in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, us and the Giants are probably the most situated, the best situated in terms of the cap room that we have, the amount of draft capital. But I do believe in our front office in terms of making the right picks over the Giants at this point, because they still have that guy in Gettleman who is not making the greatest of picks for the Giants, but they do have a quarterback right now that is sort of ascending a bit after not doing so well in the beginning part of the season. But Daniel Jones.
Come on, man.
That's the only reason why they're competitive right now.
They're not competitive. The division is trash.
Exactly, but they're still competitive in the trash division, is what I'm saying.
Listen, this guy's won 6 games.
Yeah.
5 total games in the NFL.
4 of them
were against us.
That's not ascending. That's just average. That's not even average.
And
But
yeah,
That's horrible.
I'm looking at it in terms of Gettleman and like what he sees more so than like
real
what we
quick,
see.
one thing to add is like, because I mean, the Giants games are usually are nationally televised, and I've seen, especially the first, 5 weeks, like you said, they've been competitive, and every week he has a chance on a last drive, on a game-winning drive, he has a chance to, lead his team to to a victory, and he doesn't every time. I think against the Rams, he had a chance to tie the game through an interception. Against the Bucks, he did lead them down the field, but he got a touchdown, but he couldn't get that 2-point conversion. The guy was wide open on that right side. He had another couple games where he did that. We'll see. I think Jones can be a solid quarterback in the league. I don't think he's gonna be anywhere near like that top 10, top 8. I think he can be, good enough to win a Super Bowl, but you have to have a really, really, really good team around him. And definitely, I don't think he's, warranted of that 6th overall pick.
No, I agree there.
He's a turnover machine.
Yeah.
He turned over more than we do.
Except for against us.
And let me just say this too. Yeah. Let me just say this too. As far as Chase Young is concerned, I mean, I saw Juan put up there. He's getting triple teamed. He's getting double teamed a lot. So when you getting ready to get your one-on-one and you mess around, you saying he doesn't win one-on-ones when he get them, man, you tired, then. You got triple team, double team all game. They let you go one-on-one when they don't need to block you. You're on the backside now, so they don't need to block you at that point. So I mean, it's all in how teams play us. They're gonna triple team, they're gonna double team him, they're gonna do quick outs, they're gonna throw it around him, let him come up the field. But I wouldn't. He wins enough that he's putting pressure on the quarterback a lot. Yeah. So
and he's good in the run game too.
Yeah, he's gonna get better as it goes. He doesn't come out the womb, sacking quarterbacks. So
Yeah, that's what some fans thought, though. We got to be honest. Going into the season, thought this guy was gonna rack up the sacks. Real quick,
you look at Nick Bosa last year. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year, and I think he had 8.5 sacks. I mean, Chase Young's probably gonna get around that, and Nick Bosa won Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's also didn't have a full off season. He also got injured in training camp, so he missed time there. He also got injured in the regular season this year, so he missed the Ravens game, and he also missed most of the Browns game. So not only did that hinder a little bit of his development, but also, his sack numbers. He could have gotten a sack or two in that one game in 3 quarters or whatever.
Yeah. As promised, though, I did want to talk about the quarterback situation that we have right now. There were reports out there that if we continue to lose, Dwayne Haskins will eventually be put back into his starting quarterback spot that he held for a couple of games. And what do you guys think about those reports? Do you think there's some validity to them, or do you think Alex Smith is going to be our starter for the rest of the season?
I think that's a tough one because I don't think you can I'm a huge Dwayne guy, and I was mad when they benched him. I thought he should have gotten the full year, but at least 8 games. But now after seeing how the offense has been moving with Alex Smith and Kyle Allen, I think they should keep moving with them. And it's kind of hard to be like, oh, Alex Smith, you just threw for 400 yards. I'm gonna bench you. I mean, you can do that, but at the same time, I don't think they're gonna do that. And there might be a little bit of validity to that. If it's week 15, they're 3 and whatever. They have 3 wins. They're out of the playoff hunt, and then maybe they'll play Dwayne. But I also think they see how Cam Sims, Isaiah Wright, these other role players have been ascending to better than that with Alex Smith and with Kyle Allen. So I think they might want, and they the offense is running better. So I know I keep on rambling, but the biggest thing with Dwayne, why they benched him, wasn't because of his play. I mean, it really wasn't. He did okay against the Ravens game. A lot of it was his preparation and other stuff like that. So I think if he improves that and he shows his preparations a lot better, then I would be okay with it. But I still lean on Alex Smith, and it really depends on what your end goal is this season.
Okay. Dua?
Yeah, I mean, what Pedro said, I just don't think we gave Dwayne a fair shot. But, since Alex just threw almost 400 yards, it's hard to bench a guy like that. And I feel as if we play Dwayne, hopefully we can get his value up and trade him in the offseason. But it's just, I don't know when we're ever going to get a stable quarterback for at least 5 years. It's really hard. It's unbelievable. But
yeah.
I don't know. I think we're going to roll with Alex for the rest of the season, though.
You good?
May we never draft a quarterback again. We don't. That's not what we do. That's not what we do here. We don't build up quarterbacks. We don't give them enough time to develop. We expect them to come out and play lights out the first game. If they don't, then they're out. That's just how the fan base is. That's how the coaching staff is. So, I mean, I'm a quarterback fan. Our number one quarterback is who I'm rooting for. So when Dwayne was in there, I was rooting for Dwayne. When Kyle was in there, I was rooting for Kyle. I'm rooting for Alex. But what's the point?
Yeah.
There's no point to play Alex right now. He's not our future. We're supposed to be building a young team, finding out our quarterback of the future. Alex is not our quarterback of the future. Maybe one more year, but he's going to be off the roster next year.
Yeah.
So what's the point of playing him? We need to find out if the maturation of Dwayne Haskins is going to go any further than it has gone up to this point. Mm-hmm. He played a good game. He played the same game against Baltimore that Alex played last week. Dump off passes.
I don't know about that.
Passes. Alex threw the ball down the field 3-4 times. Come on now. He throws it 5 yards. Come on. So, I mean, if you don't give a young guy enough time to develop, like I said, he didn't have any OTAs. This is a new offense, new coordinator, new coaches. He didn't have time. You threw him into the first game, not ever playing a game under the system before, or the coaches. You can't do that with 4 games and expect him to be somebody else. He might Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, we playing them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're playing the offense around his system. It's around the way he was developed. He's
talented enough though for that to happen.
He is, but they also are building the system around him and not expecting him to learn their playbook and play the way they want him to play. So, it's different in Washington. That's just not what we do. We don't coach to the talent. We coach to what we have. So I don't know why we're playing Alex. If we do, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. It is what it is. Like I said, we're not going nowhere this year. So play out the string, and we just get what we get next year. They're probably going to draft a quarterback because every new coach wants his own quarterback. Mm-hmm. And obviously Ron thinks he can pick a quarterback since he picked Cam out. Of course, he was the number 1 pick. So, how hard was that to find a quarterback? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know. Shit. I hope they don't play Dwayne, as a matter of fact, so he doesn't come in the last 3 hard games and get smashed. And who wants to see that? We need to be able to have enough draft capital to trade him to somebody else for a 5th round pick or something. But we so stupid. We like the dog players when they hit the bench, kill their whole career, and then send them off for nothing so that they can develop and learn somewhere else. So I hope they play Alex the whole way through.
Yeah. I'll just say this on just a couple of points to push back. For one thing, with Alex Smith moving on, I also thought the same thing going into the season, that we're just going to cut him next year and clear a lot of money. But again, Ron Rivera has sort of talked up Alex Smith. And even if we do draft a quarterback early next year, I just think, maybe Kyle Allen or Alex Smith could sort of compete to be that gap quarterback, right? Until that young quarterback is gets their feet under them and actually starts to start games for us and stuff. So as we've seen with other teams, right? Usually quarterbacks now are not ready to start right away. You don't always get a Joe Burrow. You don't always get a Trevor Lawrence. So I can see that happening next year. Also, I think this question would have been much easier if Kyle Allen didn't get injured. If Kyle Allen was still playing and we were still losing, I still think Kyle Allen would have been the quarterback for the rest of the season. I really believe that. At this point, it just comes down to age, and Alex Smith, he's not in, he's not supposed to be in our future, right, in terms of that starting quarterback. But I think if Kyle Allen never got hurt, I think he would have just gotten the reins for the rest of the season. I will say this about Dwayne, though. That game against the Ravens, I'm sorry, I know the yardage was sort of similar, but watching it, a lot of those yards came in actual garbage time. I'm not talking about when we're down 24-3 in the second quarter. I'm talking about fourth quarter, down 17, 20 points at that point, and then he was starting to rack up yards, and then he had that great throw against Terry. But he did not play good the entire game. I thought a lot of those yards were empty stats, as always with Dwayne, because the last couple games before he got benched, a lot of those stats were happening in garbage time in the fourth quarter. And I really don't, at this point, don't really believe Dwayne Haskins is in our future, is going to be that. Go ahead.
What do you think this offense plays? You think they come out of the huddle in the first quarter playing?
No. I'm just saying.
Not even with Alex. Not even with Allen. Neither one of them have racked up any yards in the first half. None of them.
Yeah.
And Allen, you seeing his ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
He's not getting any better. This is his ceiling. So don't count on him being a quarterback of the future.
I'm not saying
that's just my opinion.
I'm not saying he's going to be the long-term quarterback. I'm just saying if we do end up drafting a quarterback high in the draft, we always do want to have that backup quarterback that might, start a couple of games, sort of like that Ryan Fitzpatrick situation. And then once the young quarterback is ready, then start him, right? Because we've seen for too many years starting quarterbacks right away, ending their careers prematurely. That's happened way too much. And I just think one of the two quarterbacks, Kyle Allen or Alex Smith, is probably going to stay on for next year, regardless of who we draft at quarterback, unless we end up drafting Trevor Lawrence, of course. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that quarterback situation right now. Moving on a bit, though, I want to talk about some highlights from a very devastating loss last week. And one of those highlights was the Washington backfield situation. Both Gibson and McKissick did pretty well last week. And I was wondering, what do you guys make of their positive showings last couple of weeks? Do you think Gibson is our starting running back for the future? Do you think he showed you enough there? Or do you think McKissick is going to keep stealing some catches out of the backfield?
Well, first off, I totally agree with you. I mean, I've been saying this since week one. Why is Peyton Barber active and getting carries, but why is he the starting running back? I mean, ever since the Cowboys game, he is the one getting the first snaps on offense, and that's ridiculous to me. I mean, the only reason you needed Peyton Barber was potentially to be that goal line back, right? But Gibson has 7 rushing touchdowns this year, and probably 5 of them have been 5 or less yards. So he's a great goal line back, and he's a good power back. So I don't see Peyton Barber. There's no reason for him really to get any carries at all. Maybe on a 3rd and short, but I still rather have Gibson. And I think Gibson and McKissick, they've both been doing pretty well. I think they need to get more carries. I think, Gibson needs to, like I said, take those carries away from Barber and give them to Gibson and McKissick. McKissick is so good in the pass game. Very, very good. I like the way they get him involved there. I think 15 targets is a little bit too much. I think, McKissick's definitely the way better route runner, but I want to see Gibson get a little bit more involved in the pass game as well. But, they're solid, and I think, McKissick was a really good free agent signing that we didn't really think was going to be amazing, and he's been solid. And then Gibson has a good future. Hopefully he can stack up these games. I did something where I think he's on pace for over 1,100 yards this year total. So he's been doing pretty good.
Abdul?
Yeah, like what Pedro said, Peyton Barber should not get the ball. And this backfield, this duo, I'm pretty sure they can be deadly, this combo. And, Antonio Gibson, I was kind of shocked that we took him in the 3rd round. I didn't know who he was, but, watching the Cowboys game and then the Detroit game and all the Ravens game. This guy can show flashes, and him and Terry is basically our offense right now with Cam Sims and Isaiah Wright. But McKissick, now that with Alex Smith as quarterback, all those checkdowns he's going to throw to him, I feel like this is a pretty good backfield.
Deacon?
So y'all don't like Barber? Is that what y'all saying?
No. Not one bit. Nope.
Well, you gotta have Barber on the team. You just do. You do. I mean, he's the.
But
he shouldn't be playing too much. Put it that way.
There's a difference between having him on the team and starting off every single drive with him as the back.
No, and that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But I mean, if you need 1 yard, he should be able to get you 1 yard. I mean, you can't have the same. Gibson and McKissick are the same running back. They do the same things. McKissick is a little further along than Gibson is right now, but they're the same back. So you got to have some kind of switch where you can run a heavy package or something, to switch it up a little bit. I mean, I don't like. I think. I thought that I didn't think that Barber was going to make the team.
Yeah.
Put it that way. But that was before they cut AP. So once they cut AP, it was pretty much he was going to be on the team, and that's his function, was to have the hard runs on the inside. But it just seems that McKissick is better on the inside than we thought he was going to be as well. So he's running the ball pretty good.
Yeah.
On the inside and outside. Gibson is still learning. He's pushing the pocket a little fast, but he's going to be obviously good. You can tell he got good feet, good awareness, and good instincts, especially like on that touchdown run where he was supposed to go inside. He broke it to the outside. He just had too much speed for the linebackers to pick him up. So just, let's be patient. Let's be patient. Barber won't be on the team next year, most likely.
Yeah.
So that's just like we say. Right now we're playing out the string, trying to figure out who can do what. And Barber he's not going to be in the long-term cards. So I don't know. This is the first time I'm hearing this, that he's starting the game, the first runs. So I haven't even been paying attention to that.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then that's
how they try to get you, though.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree, Deacon, with all your points. I think my problem with Barber is more so just him getting too many snaps, like you mentioned. I get it. We sort of need that prodder type of back, that guy that will give you the tough yards, especially like when we have two relatively young guys. And I get that. I just don't think Barber is that great of a back. And there's a meme out there going around on Twitter that someone posted where they mentioned every time Peyton Barber runs the ball, and then I believe the meme was just like someone going to sleep. That's sort of how I feel whenever he runs the ball, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I think, the running back group is very good. Like you said, Deacon, though, Tony Gibson is learning. His vision is not all the way there, but it'll come with time, right? He was pretty much a wide receiver in college, didn't have too many snaps out of the backfield, and I think he's showed you every single week some sort of progression, and I think he'll just continue to ascend. He and Terry are definitely our building blocks on that offense. We need to build around them. McKissick isn't too shabby either, and he's arguably, I know Pedro has mentioned this, arguably like our best running back so far this season in terms of just straight up performance-wise, not even just talent. And he's been producing. Alex Smith keeps finding him. Check down Alex, right? Keeps finding him out of the backfield and keeps doing well. So I have faith in that running back room. Go ahead.
So McKissick is still young too. So it's not like he's an old running back. He's still,
yeah. And one thing to add on to what Deacon said, not only is McKissick young, but he got drafted into the NFL as a wide receiver.
He's still learning.
And I think a couple years ago is when he made the switch. So he's really a third, fourth year player.
Right. So we don't have a true running back besides Barber.
Yeah.
So you gotta have him on the team, You gotta have a running back on the team. That's and just got Bryce Love out there who get hurt. He get tender, we got little tender vittles there. So who knows where he gonna be next year?
I don't know. What do you think, Pedro, about Bryce Love?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, he keeps on having these setbacks, and it does take long to recover from an ACL. To get fully back to what you were, but he's having a lot of setbacks. And, I mean, it's looking like he's probably going to finish the whole year on like IR. Because, once the 21-day window is over, which now we're on we have 12 something days left. Once that's over, I'm pretty sure he goes to IR for the rest of the year. So, and he had another setback today. So I really doubt that in 13 days, 12 days, they bring him back to the roster. And after that, I mean, who knows? Because, 2 full years in the NFL without getting a single snap. I mean, he'll have another chance in next year in training camp to see what they can do with him. And, if then he's, back to himself, then I think it's going to be a situation where he's fighting for his roster spot in training camp next year. That's what I think. If he's fully back or even close to that, I think he'll make it. But he has to show that he's back and that he can stay healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, a little worried there. Just again, like you said, Pedro, he hasn't really showed us anything. Hasn't been able to go on the field at all since he's been drafted. But I think we're still good with Gibson and McKissick.
Yeah.
Another highlight, though, that I didn't want to mention, I mean, the last 2 years really highlight, Terry McLaurin, man. What are your guys' thoughts on him and his production so far this season? I know he's third in the league right now in receiving yards, and he's up for the Pro Bowl, of course. But where do you guys think he can end up? Do you think he can end up as a top 5 receiver in this league? I'm not just talking about stats-wise. I'm talking about just overall top 5 receiver, or do you think he's maxed out? I mean, I'm just throwing those questions out there for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, the real question is he gonna get a quarterback? I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, I think someone like Allen Robinson. I mean, you look at his career. I mean, he's putting up big numbers, 1,200, 1,300 yards with Blake Bortles, Mitch Trubisky, and Nick Foles. I mean, if he had someone like Matt Ryan or someone else, maybe his numbers would be way better. I think Terry's going to be a beast. Even without having a good quarterback, I still think he's going to be an absolute beast. I mean, he's amazing, great route runner, really fast. And one of the most important things, I mean, he's a good character guy, team captain, second year as a wide receiver. That's very impressive. And, yeah, I think he can be that perennial top 10 guy, makes the Pro Bowl almost every year. And, yeah, I think he can have a couple years where, he's in that top 5 or even better conversation. But that's going to have to be with at least average quarterback play. Because you look at all the top guys. I mean, Julio, Michael Thomas last year, Tyreek Hill, a lot of those guys, DeAndre Hopkins, they all have great quarterbacks. So he's going to eventually, if he wants to get in that upper echelon, he has to have a good quarterback. But, he's a beast. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. Abdullah.
Yeah, like what Pedro said, the guy's a beast, and if you want him to be in Washington for his whole career, we need someone to throw to him, a competent quarterback at least. And looking at DK Metcalf, a lot of people say he's better than Terry, and I mean, I'm just saying, man, you have Russell Wilson throwing you the ball, and then with Terry, you have 3 different quarterbacks this season. Yeah, the guy's amazing, and hopefully he's going to be here for the rest of his career.
Yeah, Tegan.
Yeah. So the way you can tell when a receiver is good. I know, is your question about this year or just in the future?
This year, and even what you think about Terry's future here.
Either way, the way you find out a receiver is that good is when his production doesn't fall off, no matter who's at quarterback. DK Metcalf, we don't know what's going to happen to these guys when the number 1 quarterback goes down. Mm-hmm. Terry came out of the draft, number 1 receiver from day 1. Hasn't fallen off. No matter who's behind him, no matter who's throwing the ball to him, whether they sweeping and giving it to him, he's the real deal. So that guy we don't have to worry about. I think he's going to be the future of this team. They better not trade him for capital for draft picks and nothing like that because he's so bad.
Gotta get in the bag. No.
Yeah, you got and don't wait till the last year of his contract to do so. You know, I mean, he's going into his third year next year. Start negotiating now. You know what I mean? Start negotiating in his third year to win his fourth year. He's under contract for another 5 years or whatever. But he's obviously got what it takes to be in this league for a long time. And he's damn sure our number one for a long time.
Yeah.
Now, whether his statistics are going to show with yardage and stuff like that, that also has to do with the team and how good we are, blah, 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 being double teamed and all that stuff. But he's being double teamed this year and still getting open. So I wouldn't worry about him. Them other guys, I'm not sure about them. Yeah, Cam Sims. What happened to Steven Sims? Oh, is that his name, Stevenson?
Oh, he's overhyped. Yep.
Yeah, he's Sims, right? He's the first Sims guy. So he's dropping the ball, doing all kinds of. We got to get him a number 2. We got to get Terry somebody to bounce off of, or else he's just going to get beat up all year.
Maybe Galladay, Juju, someone for agency.
Juju ain't getting.
No to Juju. No to Juju. I mean, yeah.
No to Juju.
I mean, here's the thing with Juju. He's gonna want number 1 wide receiver money, and he's not close to being a number 1 receiver. I mean, you look at his fall off from when he had AB, when the double teams were thrown to AB's way, he was great. Next year, his production falls off big time. Last year, this year, he's I don't know the exact stats, but he hasn't had a great year at all, and he's gonna demand big money, and I don't think we should go after him. I would go after more of, someone like you said, Kenny Galladay, maybe another guy, Marvin Jones, someone solid, but not necessarily like a star receiver.
You might be able to get Marvin Jones. You're not getting Juju. You're not getting Galladay.
Yeah, Galladay is going to be worth more than Juju.
Yeah. And you got to look at also who Juju is being thrown to, too. I mean, they had some quarterbacks worse than we have this year, last year, thrown to them. So, I mean, it's all relative. He's not coming off their roster. That's all they got right now. That's their number 1 receiver. They're not getting rid of him. They've gotten rid of too many number 1 receivers to where they had to have their second receiver become number 1.
But then again, yeah. No, I get that point, Deacon. But then again, man, the Steelers, year in and year out, they keep drafting these receivers. They keep producing. Deontay Johnson's arguably the best receiver on that roster right now, like when it comes to just stats and what your eyeball test shows you. But Galladay would be a great get.
How many times they won the Super Bowl? Since they keep letting their number 1 go.
That's true. I mean,
you got to at some point you got to stand pat. You got to pay your players and shoot for the goal. Otherwise, you just showing up every year playing football.
Yeah,
like us.
Yeah. So I see some people join the chat. I see Rico Proctor just put up your message. Adam, I see you as well. I do, before getting into maybe one question on the Wizards, I do want to get into the upcoming matchup against the Bengals, and was just wondering, what matchups do you guys think will be pivotal this week, and any players that us fans should look out for in terms of being the difference maker in this game? And we'll start with Pedro first.
I have to go after this question, but
okay.
I think it's gonna be another close game. Hopefully, that we better not fall behind like we have against the Lions and Giants to the Bengals. Like I definitely think we're gonna start off losing and be behind, but if we're down 24-3 to the Bengals at halftime, that's just unacceptable. So that's the first thing. We got to start out at least below average, not the worst team in the league. And I think it's going to come down to how our D-line produces. Can they, get some pressure for Joe Burrow? Can they get to Joe Burrow? Can they create turnovers? We didn't create a single turnover against the Lions, not a single turnover against the Giants. To Daniel fumbles, we didn't, create any turnovers against them, and that's part of the reasons we lost both of those games. Got to create some turnovers, and they got some good receivers in Cincinnati. Tyler Boyd's been a beast. T. Higgins has been a
Ooh.
beast.
Yeah,
And, I mean, A.J. Green hasn't been amazing, but they still have A.J. Green. They got a couple other guys. So, our corners are going to have to show up, and we'll see about the safety. Safeties are my question. I mean, who is playing safety? Because Cameron Curl, he's not the best. I'm okay with him starting, but Troy Apke and Cameron Curl as your starting safeties, ooh, that can't happen. So that's why, hopefully, if they don't show out, Ron Rivera offers Eric Reed, to the actual roster.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest thing for me: getting to the quarterback, forcing some turnovers, and then their receivers versus our number one secondary in the NFL. So, yeah, we'll see how that turns out, because they got some good receivers, and our safeties. I mean, we're down to both backups right now.
You didn't say who you had winning.
What?
You didn't say who you had winning.
Oh,
but you ain't say it.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna do my preview video tomorrow. Still haven't decided. I think it's gonna be a close game. Bengals play a lot of their opponents close besides the Steelers. I mean, they beat the Titans. All I'll say is it's gonna be a close game. And the thing that's gonna be annoying if we win, it's gonna be the playoff talk again. It's gonna be the playoff talk again. So yeah. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Thank you for being on.
Thanks, Deacon. Thanks, everyone. And yeah, it was fun. Hope to see you guys soon.
For sure.
Hope we get that dub.
Yeah. Hopefully the Wizards get us a good player tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
All right, peace.
So Abdullah, what are your thoughts?
I want to see this defensive line just dominate, because Joe Burrow is the second most sacked quarterback behind Carson Wentz. And, I just want to see this defensive line dominate, and just want to see our playmakers ball out. I mean, hopefully Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson have a big day. And I feel like this will be a shootout, and I feel like we can win this game, but then again, we are Washington. So
yeah. Deacon.
Washington, that's right. Okay, so FYI, I've chosen after the Giants game, then after Detroit game, to be positive for the rest of the year. Okay? So I'm going to be positive about this. Now, I'm positive they're going to lose, but the positivity I'm going to say is that we have a chance not to lose by a lot. Okay? It's going to be better. It's going to be better than the Detroit game. The only reason I say that is because I think some people on defense have some stuff to prove, and this is the game to do it. Joe Burrow is obviously a better quarterback than what we have on our roster. He's going to push the ball down the field. Hopefully, we might get an interception because he's young, and he might think that his arm's loose. He doesn't really have a strong arm. I mean, the further you go down, he's not drilling the ball downfield. So we have a chance to confuse him. He got good wheels. So
we struggle with those kind of quarterbacks.
I know.
Any sort of mobility.
I didn't say we were going to win. I just said it's going to be a good game. Alex has the ability to dump it down 10 yards. So he can't find the open player. So if we don't make a lot of mistakes, then we have a chance to win. Other than that, it might be a blowout. The reason why our pass defense is ranked as high as it is because our run defense is getting gashed every game. So nobody has to really pass. And Mixon is a hell of a running back.
Mm-hmm.
That dude can run.
He might be back too. I believe he wasn't playing last week.
Even that backup's good. Who was that? It was that
Bernard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. That dude got skill. So, and he was the starting running back before Mixon got there. So it's not like he's a bump. So we're gonna have a hard time, man. Hopefully, like I said, we have enough to prove where we're gonna put some pressure on Joe Burrow and maybe at least stop the run this week. I would just sell out on the run this week. I mean, let's fix something. Fix one thing on your defense so that we don't get down 20 points at halftime again.
Yeah.
Let's start there. Because if we can keep it like 3 or 7 points, we might have a chance to win. Since we don't bring the offense out to the halftime.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, positively, I'm hoping. Yeah,
that's all we can do. Just hope.
Good game. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah. Yeah, sort of like you, just trying to be optimistic for the rest of the season. Can't really expect any sort of wins. Can't predict any wins with this team. Always find a way to let you down. I also think, when it comes to matchups, Joe Burrow versus our secondary is going to be a big one. Bengals, before Pedro went off, he talked about the stud receiving core that they have. And I'm telling you, T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are very good receivers in this league. And it's going to be very hard for us to stop, even with us being the top-ranked pass defense in the league. I think Antonio Gibson, he's probably going to be the X factor this week, much like he was the X factor last week. I think if Antonio Gibson goes off and we play some solid defense and not go down, 24-3 like we did last week, I think we have a chance of winning this game. But at the same time, like Abdullah said, we are Washington. We always find a way to screw things up, and I could see things happening this week as well. I do want to say for all the people in the chat, one thing that I actually found on Twitter a couple of days ago and something that's actually pretty important. The Bengals are very good at stopping backs out of the backfield when they go out for like passes and stuff. And we know Alex Smith loves to check it down. So if the Bengals take that away, they're not the greatest of defenses, but if they take that away, it might be rough. It might be rough. So all I got to say, this should be a good matchup. I think it will be a close game, like Deacon said. But I can't predict a win with this team. I can't predict a win.
Yeah. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. I'm predicting a future win against the Cowboys.
I am too. Yeah. On Thanksgiving, that's all that matters.
Yeah. That's all that matters.
That's the season right there.
Exactly.
I mean, we're playing on national TV. We don't have a game on national TV except for Thanksgiving. And it's against Cowboys, which means that's our season. That's our Super Bowl at this point. Because we're not going to Super Bowl. If we get to the playoffs.
We're going to the playoffs. Yeah.
So, I mean, if we get to the playoffs, you're talking about us winning 5 games. That's horrible. Why would we want to do that? I mean, I understand people want an extra game and they want a home playoff game, blah, blah, blah. You can't go anyway.
Yeah.
We're going to be sitting at home watching it on TV. Get out of here with that, man. I'm trying to build a team so that we can have a perennial playoff team as opposed to trying to win this season and then destroying things that, we had plans for at the beginning of the year. That's what I think we did when we switched over to the win now mode. Yeah. So, hey, good luck next week.
Yeah.
This week, Bengals. It's going to be an awesome game.
Yeah. Should be fun. Yeah, the Bengals offense is also really fun to watch. So hopefully it's not as fun when they're playing us. But I do want to say it's the last part of this stream. It's been a really fun one, guys. The last part, do want to talk a little bit for a couple minutes about the Wizards before they're on the clock. What do you guys think about their odds tonight of getting a good player? They have the 9th pick, I believe. The Wizards are set to have a very good future with John Wall back. Hopefully not going to be traded for Russell Westbrook as Corey talked about. But what do you guys think about tonight?
I want a Koro or a Kongwu, or if somehow Obi Toppin falls, which he probably won't even fall in the top 5. Those are the 3 guys I want. And I believe in Tommy Shepard. He's way better than Ernie Grunfeld.
I agree.
I don't even care. Because it's just like anything else, man. The draft is a crapshoot.
Yeah.
It's
just the NBA draft.
Yeah, because it's less people, less rounds. You have more of an opportunity to screw things up. 9th pick is not like the 2nd pick, so you're not getting a top player. Somebody might fall to you, but then there's usually a reason why. And it's just like I was saying, we play good enough to look bad and get a bad draft pick.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen. I mean, I hope not, but I think that, it's not enough good players, good franchise-changing players to help us in the draft. Yeah. We might get a decent player, hopefully, but we're going to have to build this team some other kind of way. We can't keep building year after year the same way, which is trying to draft a player to change the franchise. Because even when we drafted John Wall, that didn't change the franchise. We just got a good player.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't win no championships yet. So we got to build. We got to have a macro kind of idea of how to build a team, as opposed to just what we see in front of us. I wouldn't even mind switching with Westbrook with John Wall. And the only reason I say that is because we've seen what we had with John Wall. We're not going to go any further than what we have. So let's try something new. I mean, I like John Wall. He's been with us forever. Mm-hmm. But if he has, let's get that done. And Westbrook obviously is a good player. And, you know, he might be a ball hog and shoot all.
Oh.
And the last thing I would do is trade Bill, though. The hell don't trade Bill. That's our corner franchise. He's been holding us up for the last 2 years. He's done his job. He deserves what he gets. Keep him on the team. What we gonna do? Get 2 average players for 1 good one? Why do we keep doing that?
Yeah, I'll say this: if we trade Bradley Beal, I mean, we just got to tank. We got to tank. We got to trade everybody else away. I don't think John Wall is gonna have as great of a season, as good of a season, as if Bradley Beal left the team. It's not gonna be the same. I'll say this: Wizards did have some good luck last year. They did draft Rui, and he looks like a potentially really good player for us, and potentially a good player at the forward position that we've been missing talent-wise for a very long time. I'll say this: I actually agree with Abdullah in that Okongwu would probably be my most favorite pick. I know he's injured right now, but he should only be out for like 1 to 3 weeks, so he should be good to go by training camp and especially by the time the regular season starts. Also getting comparisons to Bam Adebayo. So, I mean, whenever you get compared to an all-star, it's always good. So hopefully, no matter what, the Wizards get a good player. Maybe get Obi Toppin if he lasts that long. Probably not, but that's probably it for this video, guys. Thank you guys, Deacon and Abdullah so much, and Pedro as well for being on the stream. It's always fun. We're all like, especially us three, we're pretty small channels, and it's good to just have collaborations and talk with one another and really build each other up. But go ahead.
Quick fact: I coached against T. Higgins, and he was good in high school.
Oh shoot! Really?
Nasty in high school, man. So you can tell when somebody has it.
Yeah.
And we knew he had it.
Where did you go to high school? Was it in this area?
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Damn. That's
cool. Wild, man.
Yeah. So you're a big fan of him, I'm assuming.
When you know people, you kind of follow them. Yeah. So I had a couple of players. Like I coached. I played for Tennessee basketball team.
Oh shoot!
He played football then, but he was horrible at football. But he's all right. He's a pretty good basketball player.
Yeah.
So you kind of get involved with these guys, and you follow them. Yeah. We hope.
Yeah. No, hey, I don't know if Deacon's up.
Oh, I'm glad he's doing good.
Yeah.
Just hope he sucks now.
This week, yeah. But no, T. Higgins is great. Was a great draft pick by the Bengals. But yeah, I see people in the chat saying keep Bertans. I agree with that. I mean, if we're gonna keep the whole crew, we got to keep the whole crew. But yeah, again, that's it for this video, guys. I know you guys do want to get to watch this draft, so gonna end the stream here. Thank you everyone for joining. Deacon and Abdullah again for joining the stream, and everybody joining the chat. I appreciate it. We always appreciate your support, and without you, this channel is nothing. So hopefully we get a dub on Sunday. Not likely because we are Washington, but hopefully we do. So that's it. Thank you guys.